How can government ensure that Women's Month is dedicated to tackling challenges faced by women? Will law enforcers be brave enough to show that no one is above the law by arresting Mduduzi Manana? What perpetuates the culture of violence in the country? And why do most women continue to experience intimate partner violence? What time is it? It is question time. Khotso, and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Today, the country is celebrating Women's Day. The day evokes mixed emotions in that whilst it is dedicated to celebrating the historic march by women to the Union buildings on 9th August 1956, incidents of the abuse of women and children seem to be on the rise. The latest incident is the so-called alleged assault of Mandisa Duma by Deputy Minister of Higher Education Mduduzi Manana over the weekend. While politicians and civil society are calling for Manana's immediate arrest, the police ministry says the investigation docket is set to be handed to the Public Prosecutor soon. We don't know when soon is. President Jacob Zuma delivered the keynote address at the main event in Kimberley in the Northern Cape. The event was held under the theme, the Year of OR Tambo, Women United in Moving South Africa Forward. We are live. If we can call us and air your views, the numbers 089-110-4210, international number rather, +27891104210, and Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. My guest today, Lulama Nare. She's the commissioner at the Commission for Gender Equality, and Ana Moyo, Advocacy Program Manager at the Center for the Study of Violence. But before we get into the discussion, let's have a look at what President Zuma had to say earlier today.
Investigative units who investigate sexual offenses, some family-related crimes, and all child abuse crimes. In addition, the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations, or the Hawks, investigate all cases of human trafficking and organized crime. We wish to emphasize that nobody is above the law when it comes to crimes against women.
Well, that's President Jacob Zuma there at the Women's Day celebration today, saying something which I actually want to question, how true that is. If nobody's above the law, why is Mduduzi Manana not arrested on this day when so much evidence and complaints and cases had been laid? If Mduduzi Manana was just another Mpho somewhere in Soweto, you would have been locked up and told uzophendula phambili. So Manana is still out. And by the way, we tried to get a response from the police. They refused to return our calls, not responded to SMSs. Vuyo Maga is the spokesperson of the Minister of Police. So yeah, you are on record here on Question Time. We have to tell our viewers that we've been getting hold of you, send you messages, you have not responded. We don't know why. But that be as it may, I just don't feel it is right to be talking people are equal before the law when there's such a prominent case and nothing has happened.
What we have seen actually is that to actually go to court or to be arrested, it's also a matter of how much do you have? How much can you defend yourself? What is your defense? I think some of the people who have money in this country, they do get away with the comfort of not being arrested. They are out on bail, or they appear for a few minutes, they pay off their bail, and they wait for an upcoming event that they are waiting for. We have seen in the Oscar Pistorius case how long it took for most of the prominent and the wealthy and those who have money and access to defense, a high-powered defense. This we see as a precedence in our country, sadly so.
Now, why should an organization or an institution like yours, Ms. Moyo, continue to exist when women are being underdone like this?
It is really important in dealing with issues of gender-based violence, for instance, and even femicide, issues where women's rights are violated, any issue dealing with violence against women to be understood and also to be put in context. And this is where institutions like the Center for the Study of Violence and Reconciliation come in to understand the root causes, the underlying causes, the systemic issues at the very root of such kind of violence in order to address it. And of course, we engage in research. We undertake research studies around what really is causing such an increase in gender-based violence in South Africa, with an aim to understand the root causes and then addressing them. And of course, our research has actually highlighted a number of things, amongst them being the fact that there are a lot of issues, some of them cultural, some of them social, some of them are socio-economic issues, and even some of them practices that are endemic in our society that have continued to perpetuate the cyclical nature of gender-based violence we continue to see in South Africa. And addressing those will actually put us on a course towards addressing some of the gender-based violence we experience in the country.
Samuel, you are in Pretoria. Welcome.
Yes, I'm in Pretoria.
Welcome.
Yes, what I'm saying now, I'm worried about what Manana, Manana did in women. As the president, what he said, there's no one is above the law. So they must straight arrest this man. This is not a...
But they haven't arrested him, Samuel.
I beg yours?
I'm saying they haven't arrested him. And it's not like there are no police around him. He's guarded by 4 policemen throughout his entire life.
Honestly speaking, they know the man. So
yes.
Why they know the man?
Yeah.
They really know the man.
Okay, Samuel, thanks very much. I think as a commission, you have a huge responsibility. I know that yours is not only to look at violence against men, but gender-based violence or gender issues, rather. Let's put it that way. But in this case, when as a commission you seek the support of men to combat violence against other genders, whether it be women or LGBTIs and all that, then you find a case of this nature, and I'm going to use it as a case study because it is prominent. And I would imagine that if there are any examples that are supposed to be set, Mduduzi Manana should be an example.
Definitely, he should be an example. And for all the men who actually hold influential positions, they should be examples. Even the men who have money in our society, who hold the economy, they have not been acting in an exemplary way. And I think for me, as the Gender Commission, we have seen this as a trend, that in South Africa, it depends where you are sitting. I think you made an example. If you are sitting you are in an informal settlement or in a township, you would have been arrested by now. We are waiting for a 1,000 bail you don't have, and you are sitting in awaiting trial, or something has been done. But what we have seen is that with influential men with money and means, access to courts and the justice system is much more efficiently responding to them. In a way, it's as if the law in South Africa seems to be that you need to have a certain amount of access to finance in the economy so that you can actually defend and protect yourself from actually going to jail and await in jail.
Wise man, Usepai.
Yes, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your guest. Happy Women's Day, Mama. I cannot celebrate this day, man, because a man that abused a woman, last night he was in Parliament and protecting a corrupt president. A popular man who abused a woman, just like what you said, boy, he is always surrounded by the police. Yes. Why that man is not in prison right now? And I cannot celebrate a woman. It's just what is this English name? What you call it? A fast. What you call it? It's just how can we celebrate a Women's Day with a man that voted a corrupt president even last night? The man is somewhere enjoying himself, but today we're celebrating Women's Day. No, man. Sharp ball.
All right, thanks a lot, wise men. They're saying there's nothing to celebrate. I'm going actually to ask our producers to get hold of Vuyo Maga or Fikile Mbalula on the line so that we can hear what is it that they are doing with this particular matter. I hope they can just be able to assist that. But is there a perception out there by women that it matters not whether I'm abused or not or violated, if it is somebody like Mduduzi Manana, if I'm going to report the case, it's not going to go anywhere? Is that the perception?
This perception is there, and it is very real, especially when it comes to people of affluence, people, high-profile people in our society who actually should be an embodiment of the very values that we aspire to as a nation, for instance. But because issues around means, issues around economic resources to sometimes even curtail and postpone justice being served in such instances really is a factor. And to an ordinary woman on the street who would have gone to the extent of actually approaching a police station to report the incident and seeing that the perpetrator is still out there, not being apprehended, they are not arrested, they continue to roam the streets. Sometimes they continue even to be on our televisions making statements, continuing in their jobs, for them being business as usual. To an ordinary man, that kind of justice delayed is actually justice denied.
Well, because they, I guess, believe that, people will talk for a week, and after that, I'll take leave from work, I'll be off social media, and then in 2 weeks' time, I go and donate a few thousand rand at some crash or something, then people will forget.
Or offer a public apology, for instance. And of course, as a society, we should accept that public apology and everything then should be forgotten. But what about the victim who actually suffered this kind of abuse at a physical level, at a psychological level, emotional level? This is very traumatic for women who actually experience this kind of abuse. And an apology cannot fix the impact of this kind of violence at a victim level's experience, for instance.
Tammy, you are in Mpumalanga. Welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon, sorry.
Yes, indeed.
Here in South Africa, we got a problem.
Yes.
We are led by the corrupt government and the corrupt ministers. Why didn't arrest Mr. Manana yesterday at Parliament? This our South African police services are dealing with the poor of the poorest of the people. They don't arrest the well-known people. Actually, let me put an example.
Yes.
If they want to arrest you, why don't they don't wait you at SABC at the station and arrest you? Why didn't they arrest Mduduzi Manana yesterday at the Parliament? Why Fikile Mbalula yesterday did see Mr. Maimane when he was using a cell phone in the Parliament, but he didn't arrest the criminal, the most wanted person, Mduduzi Manana, that is abused the powerless women in their month. That's my question. If they fail to arrest Manana, let us say the SACP or this government of us, this corrupt government of the ANC is for the poor. They don't arrest the well-known people. Let me say and assure you, our country is going down with these ministers. Let them recall on their position.
Okay. Yeah, I think people have various views about this matter, and we are trying to get hold of Vuyo Maga. I'm told he's still not answering his phone. I don't know if they have tried the minister himself. So if anybody is with Mduduzi or with Vuyo or Fikile, 0891104210 is the number to dial. We would love to hear why is this man not been arrested. We are not saying he's guilty, but you prove your innocence in a court of law. And I mean, like I'm saying, on the very same day on which he beat up those women, he was in the company of police. He goes nowhere without his policemen who are his protectors. They safely escorted him home. Brian, you're in Middleburg. Welcome. Brian? Brian, are you still there on the line?
Yeah, Paul, thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, Paul, I'm very, very much disappointed with our organization and the government as a whole. Because, Paul, how can somebody who's having a case of an assault to a woman be allowed to cast a vote in the parliament?
Well, I'm not so sure if he voted yesterday. I know that his name was called, but I don't remember seeing him walking to the booth, eh?
He did.
Oh.
He was there. I saw him. He did.
Oh, okay.
And now, if it was another poor person from around Mpumalanga or around Middleburg or around Soweto, he would have been in prison by now, being arrested, applying for a day.
Yes.
So what is it that is different, and what makes him so different and so special from any other citizen of this country for him to still not be arrested by now?
Well, he's the Deputy Minister of Higher Education.
So, which means the Deputy Minister of Higher Education has got all the rights, has got all the rights to do as he wishes and to violate all the acts of this country, and then nothing is to be done to him.
Brian, you've made your point very loud and clear. As a commission, how does this type of a matter impact your job?
One of the things that because we are monitoring what the police and whether the case, as it is said, it has been open.
Yes.
What we are going to do now is to call for the minister to appear in front of the Gender Commission. We're doing it because there's violence that has been meted against a woman. Oh,
wait. So, no. This is very important. Just make that announcement properly. What is going to happen from now onwards?
For the Gender Commission, because we have a mandate to do so, we are going to be calling for the minister to appear. Because I think even in his statement, he has said that he is open to any legal process. And the Gender Commission, as a Chapter 9, has a legal process that we are going to be subjecting him to. Okay. And we will also be calling for the woman that was violated.
Okay. Well, I've just learned that we have Vuyo Maga on the line, and he's very angry, and we must talk to him now, otherwise he's going to hang up. Vuyo, my name is Mpo Tsedu here at Question Time. Welcome. Why is Mduduzi Manana still not arrested?
Thank you. No, I'm not angry, and I'll never hang up on anyone. A quick one, what has actually happened, we've just spoken with the guys now. I think the minister has just also spoken to some journalists of the SABC to another case that is not related. The investigation is actually almost on conclusion. By the end of this week, we can then actually say that Mr. Manana will obviously be appearing in court to respond to the cases. As we have said it before, we will actually deal with this issue without fear or favor or prejudice. And I think we wanted to be clinical about it, and that's what actually we've been doing. The investigators have been hard at work, collecting necessary evidence, and to make sure that we don't jeopardize the case.
But Vuyo, normally when somebody opens a case, you get arrested and then they investigate.
That's the issue that I want to, actually we need to clarify.
Yes.
When someone goes to the police station or gets arrested to the police station, we must never treat it as a form of punishment, and I think that's what we want to do. It basically means that it makes it easier for the police. When they want to take you to court, they're able to actually appear in court. Now, the police are not a court of law, so we can't therefore say, when we have arrested you, you are then automatically saying to us, we have pronounced you to be guilty or not guilty. It's only a court of law that can do that. What we are then saying is that Mr. Manana will go through the normal process, as we have said, appear in the court, and the court will pronounce itself on the case that is brought in front of it. What the police are doing, they're supposed to investigate. After they've investigated, give it to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors must take a particular decision. And we must then not then treat someone who's apprehended, sent to the to the police cells as a form of punishment. It's basically saying we are able to hold you and we are able to take you to the to the court, and the court must be able to to pronounce themselves on your guilty or not guilty part. So it's not a punishment to take someone to the police cells and do an arrest. And I think we must be able to engage with ourselves as community and South Africans.
Okay.
That that's why I say you are alert.
Yeah, we understand that. But Vuyo, just hold. One of my guests wants to address you.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Paul. So there is the one aspect of course, the criminal justice system will take its course, and before you are actually tried before a court, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But there is also a very real incident where everyone saw this. It has gone viral on social media.
Well, he has confessed himself.
He has also confessed, and he has asked for a public apology, for instance. And there is a public outcry, especially on such a month as this, where we're actually commemorating the gains made by women in South Africa. So there is a lot of issues. What we actually need is a public outcry from the government actually condemning such acts. And also what we actually need is the government coming out very strongly, sending a very strong message to say we cannot condone this. The criminal justice aside, it will take its course, but what else needs to be addressed? For instance, what does this mean? Even issues around should he step down because he has actually failed to actually live up to the standards by which we actually see him upholding what we have actually given him as a public official, to say you are actually an embodiment of these values. We expect you to uphold them on the one hand, and also to actually condemn any such acts where they happen within any government structure or any government department. But when you are actually the perpetrator, what else is being done? Besides you being innocent until proven guilty, what else is government supposed to be doing to send a very strong message against such atrocities?
Hold it there. Vuyo?
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am and Paul. As well said, I think the first thing that we did when the matter came up, there are about three things. That we take the victim to be genuine in terms of this particular case, and we have said it in our statement. Secondly, we have then said that irrespective of the position you hold in society, either rich or not rich, you're a minister, you're not a minister, the law must take its course. And we've been very consistent around that. And I think we are quite correct. Talking to you now, that's what I was actually arguing with your prosecutors. Just visited a family, who has actually the daughter being killed. She was just found out in Cape Town. The minister was there. I was with her, unfortunately, because we take the issue of the gender-based violence quite seriously. Now, the issue of the stepping aside or not stepping aside,
that's
it's really trying to mean that we're overstepping the mark.
Yeah, no,
as the police, ours is to uphold the law, the rule of law. The rest of the space, if Mr. Manana, because of this particular case, must he apologize or not? And I think he has already done that. But that's not our space. That's him. His conscience that must actually do that. Must he step down or not? We are not the one who appointed him. The president did. Ours is to uphold the law, and I think we've been quite consistent around that. As we have said, irrespective of who you are in society, no one is above the law, and we are very clinical in this particular case. And actually, Mr. Manana is actually going through that kind of process. So there are no favors. There's no issue, but he's a minister or not a minister. We are dealing with this particular issue the best the police know how. We are dealing with professionals. Police have been doing this thing for quite a long time. So they have not, at any given time, given any favor whatsoever to Manana. And we've been very consistent in terms of this particular issue.
So, can you confirm that Mduduzi Manana is your suspect?
Yes, the suspect, obviously. We can confirm that. As we have said, the case is open and in, and the investigation is actually at advanced stage. Hence, we're able to send you now that by the end of the week, we'll be able to give you a different information when we say the issue is on the advanced stage Where exactly are we? And I think that's what we've been doing. We've been trying to communicate with the media to tell them exactly where we are, because we understand the importance of this thing.
But I thought that cases of this nature were a priority. Your minister normally says, whoever, so
I think if you listen to the TV interview now, if the SABC is going to flight it, he has actually expressed himself on this issue. So we're not unequivocal about where we stand in terms of the law, in particular the gender-based violence and those who are vulnerable groups.
All right.
It is actually one of our focus areas.
Vuyo, thank you very much, and thanks for taking our calls, and we hope indeed Manana will be jailed soon. Let me give you final thoughts, very, very briefly.
I think we remain concerned about what happens in court, because cases of gender-based violence do not have extra weight. They are taken as a criminal case, and this one is going to be an assault or grievously bodily assault,
GBH.
And it won't be taken as gender-based violence, and that remains a concern for us.
It remains a concern for all of us indeed. That was Question Time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the entire crew, I'm Year.